All right, good evening, everyone. Getting ready for another race. Just finished my warm-up. Gonna head over to the race course. Woo. So it's like cooler side. Still, it's warmed up a little bit from last several days, but it's 82% humidity. We had a little bit of a rain sprinkling down, and it's 63 degrees. So definitely feels cool. Did my warm-up without any fans, but I know I'm going to need them, and so turn them on. So now, of course, I'm freezing. Real quick, so I already set my weight, already set my bike, already set my wheels. Shout out to, I forget who it is. His real name is Ryan. He went by K something with an A. I'll look it up and I'll get back to you at the end of this. If you watch my Thanksgiving Day ride, there was a guy that was riding with me, and then he'd go shooting off, and then he'd disappear, and then he'd go shooting off. And couldn't figure out why. He left me a comment and said, because of all the glitches that were happening that day, because of all the people on that ride, he couldn't stay with me. He was trying, and then things would mess up, and he'd be way ahead, and he'd be way behind. So I told him I would give him a shout out. So Ryan, there's your shout out. Let me see if I can't look up his rider name here. I have to do my phone because I'm streaming on the computer. Let's see. I want to say it was like K. Albert or something. K. Albert was his rider name. So anyway, I told him I would give him a shout out. So kudos for trying to stay with. And anyway, that's that. I got you the weather. Told you my weight and bike's already all set up. Didn't tell you the time. It's about 6:45 Central Time in Southern Mississippi. I got a full workout in today, full warm-up. It was not an abbreviated warm-up. So I was happy about that. So that's all set. Get a quick nose blow in here, just for the fans. About 30 seconds ago, for those that haven't watched everything I posted, real quick, hold on. If I were out on the road, it'd just be a quick adjustment, but I'm not going to do that inside the garage here. All right, 8 quick laps, counter-clockwise this time. I don't expect a lot of talking. Made the first split. Someone got tagged. Another one got tagged. Made the second split. You can watch on the map there. Might be the same split. Someone else got tagged. Got another burrito. Halfway. Didn't really lap someone. Almost didn't do that in time. Didn't really lap someone else. Two laps. More lapping coming up. Think end game. Last lap. Whew. Now we get back in the game here. I'm going to give you some updates. Put some blood back in my shoes, my feet. Did my warm up in France, so we'll head over to Paris for some cool down. Oh yeah, Jersey. That's why I'm freezing. Might or might not be some blood in that. All right. Make sure I have this. I hit OK before we was done pairing everything, so make sure I picked it up. Okay. All right, get out of this tall gear. All right, so only 8 laps, so I figured it'd be on the quick side. I think I saw well over 500 watts while we were still in the pens, before we even got out on the course. Let me turn some fans off real quick. You'll be able to hear me better. Although I've listened to the recordings on this afterwards, and it seems like this microphone, the way I have it aimed right now, it doesn't seem to pick up the fans, which is good because there's a lot of noise from 4 fans blowing. But now I can hear myself better. Man. All right. So 8 laps, hot out of the gate, right turn, do the 180, then we do the climb on the ups and downs instead of the downhill because we're going the counterclockwise direction. I actually felt like I did pretty good on those this time. When I first started racing this course, I liked that one a lot better because I felt like I could react to the changing elevations and hold my own and make up ground on that. And then versus the clockwise direction where it's just a steady uphill, it lets up for a moment and then steady uphill. I didn't feel like I could do as well on that. Man. Over time, I felt like I could actually do better in the clockwise direction. I learned how to put in a high cadence effort on the climb, hold my own, make up ground on the steady state, and I didn't seem like I did as well on the counterclockwise direction the way we did tonight. So I actually was going to do a different race tonight. We'll talk about that for just a moment. It's called the Hound and the Hare, I think. The D's, the C's, the B's, and the A's are all in the same course at the same time, but they're not all let go at the same time. So what happens is, I think we're going to be in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, on the flat section. Everyone does 7 laps, but the D's go off. 7 minutes later, the C's go off. The D's, the whole point of the D's is to try and finish the race first. So they're trying to stay in front of everyone. They started 7 minutes before the C's. The C's trying to finish first. So our goal is to try and catch the D's before we're caught by the B's or the A's. Because 3 minutes after us, the B's are going to start. And 2 minutes after them, the A's are going to start. So everyone's goal is to finish the race first. It's kind of like a handicap start, if you will. And if you do it well, the goal is to set the pace high enough as a group that you can try and stay away. But if you set the pace too high and you splinter the whole group and you're riding solo, you're not going to win. So anyway, that's that race. I remember doing it once, early on. And I was a D at the time. And we got caught like halfway through the race. It wasn't even funny. Anyway, I decided not to do that one tonight. Just because it was going to be a longer race and just wasn't feeling like it by the time I got home from work. And so instead, and the reason I was going to do that one instead of this one that I did tonight is because this one was the counterclockwise direction and I didn't want to do the climb in the direction that we did it tonight. So I decided, no, I'm doing this. So I did. Anyway, let's see. So I got a few different power-ups. The featherweight obviously is on the uphill portion. You can use any power-up anytime. But if you want to take the most advantage of it, so think of it like, this is the way my brain works. If I get a 20% off coupon, that would be $20 off 100. Well, it's 20% off no matter what. So 20% off is 20% off. But 20% off of 100 is 20. 20% off of 10 is 2. So it's still the same percentage off, but if I'm going to use a percentage coupon, I'm going to use it on a more expensive item because I'm saving more money with the same coupon, if that makes sense. Obviously, you have to pay more money, right? You're spending more money on a $100 item than you are on a $10 item. But if I were to spend the $10 or the $100 anyway, I'm going to use a percentage coupon on the more expensive item and a straight discount coupon, like a $2 off. I'm going to use that on something that's cheaper because $2 off $100, I'm still spending 98 bucks, right? $2 off a $3 item, I'm only spending $1. So anyway, that's how my mind works. So all that to come back to the power-ups. You can use a power-up anytime, but there's times where it makes the most sense to use it. In my mind, you can use them anytime. Again, as I've said several times now. And I've seen people use featherweights on straightaways, flat straightaways. Not the best time to use it, but it's still going to take some of the weight out of the equation or calculating the physics for you. So, if you wanted to, if that was the only power up you had, and you could either use it on a climb, or if you wanted to hold it because you were already a good climber and you left the group without, maybe you rode away from the group without ever using your climbing, your featherweight power up, then you could still use it on, say, the sprint. You're not going to necessarily get as much bang for your buck, but it's still going to reduce your weight for the sprint. So you're still going to see a difference. All right, all that to say, the power-ups I remember getting are, I had a featherweight, I think maybe a couple times. I'm going to use that on the climb. Based on the rate that we climb, I tend to save it for, there's like maybe 4, if I remember right, little uphill pieces. The last little uphill piece, how do I say that? The last uphill is the uphill to the flat. to the false flat. The second to last uphill is the last climb before you come back down before the uphill to the false flat. So that second to the last climb is usually when I drop that featherweight. That not only do I then get to keep it into that false flat because it still has some power left, but that second to the last uphill, I think, touches 10%. So I'm going to get my most bang for the buck. And that's where people start to fade. And, you know, because it's climbing like 3 or 4 climbs, right? So even someone that can maybe hold their own on 1, 2 climbs, 3 climbs, whatever, they're going to start to feel that. And so they'll start to fade just naturally. And so anyway, that's the time then to make sure that you don't fade back with them, that you're staying in front, that you don't get stuck behind their wheel if a gap starts to form. I mean, all these different things. So that's when I use that. And like I say, it'll still have a little bit of power left as I make the turn on the false flat. So I can continue to help wind it up a little bit there. Again, not getting the most bang for my buck, but still has a little bit of weight reduction impact as we head into the false flat, where gaps will start to form, people will continue to start to splinter, or groups will, and because that's sometimes where people will put in big efforts to try and break everyone away. All right, let's see, what else I get? I got the burrito a couple times. That's really good for breaking away. Otherwise, maybe you could use it as a strategy piece. That's where I tried to use it one time. So all it does is make you undraftable. So if you're trying to break away off the front or from behind, whatever, if you're trying to break away, you want to put in a big effort. No one can jump on your wheel and get a draft. If they want to jump on your wheel and go with you, they have to do just as much work as you because they aren't getting any draft from you. The other time to use it is a strategy piece. And this is where I did it. One of the times I just use it in the big group just before the start finish banner, just because I wanted to burn it. I wasn't impacting anyone because we're all in a group anyway, so they were just getting the draft off someone else. But one of the times, I think it was the very next lap, we started in the downhill. Everyone starts to get spread out a bit. A gap started to form. I put some pressure in to come around one of the guys and dropped my burrito because that way he was starting to get gapped already, and I put in the effort to go across. Now he didn't get a free ride. So maybe kind of a jerk move. The reality is someone else wanted coming around me as well. So if he jumped on his wheel, then he was back in it anyway. But like I say, maybe kind of a jerk move, but at the same time, you know, racing is racing. The intent of a race is to win, not to. Anyway, what else I get? I got the steamroller once, and that smooths out different road surfaces. So like on these cobbles here, or back on the cobbles on that downhill section, there is a slight drag coefficient that's factored in on your rolling resistance. And so it's not a huge deal, because it's on the downhill because of the direction we were going, but there's really no other good spot to use that. So I dropped that one on the downhill over the cobbles, and it lasted well past the cobbles, well into the asphalt. What else? I got the Aero helmet once. But the things I struggle with are when to use these sometimes, because there's certain times, featherweight, I'm going to use on an uphill. And there's times when it makes sense for certain ones to be used. But Aero helmet makes you more aerodynamic. So if you're doing some work at the front, makes you more aero, so that you're kind of getting a draft even though you're not behind anyone. You want to think of it that way. I think I used it, so the other time to use it is if you're trying to bridge, or anytime you want to get more aero, right? But again, most bang for the buck is going to be the higher the speed. So, oh, someone just waved. I don't know who that was. I race like a girl, Kay Menson, I think. See if that, yeah, that drops on here. Oops, that's not me. That's me. So I think I use that one. So again, I struggle with when to use them sometimes, because if, like, say I was in this group here and they're starting to go away from me, drop it and do everything you can to get back in. But if I'm just on the edge of losing contact and I put in the effort and get back in without burning it, then I feel like I'm better off, because it's like, it's almost like you have one bullet in your gun. When are you going to use it? Make sure you use it at the right time, because you don't get another one. And so I feel like sometimes I don't use them when I should, because I want to kind of keep it in my pocket just in case I need it. And anyway, I think I didn't use it. Wound up getting back in the group, and then didn't use it all the way to the start finish. I think that was the one that I almost didn't use in time, and dropped it just as we were going onto the start finish banner, I think. And then it allowed me to sit up a little bit and relax, because I was still kind of getting a draft, more of a draft, because I was more aerodynamic. Anyway, the last one I got was the drafting van, the one that you can see up there I have right now. My goal was to use that for the final sprint, and we wound things up. By we, I mean not me. I was doing everything I could just to try and stay with. Things got wound up pretty hot. Kind of right where I thought they would, but I guess I wasn't ready for it, even though I knew it was coming. So you got the downhill, and the speed goes up on the downhill, not just because it's downhill, but it seems like everyone puts more power on. And anyway, we go downhill, heart rate's going up. Then you go through, I think, maybe a left and a right, and there's like a 2% little bump, which levels back out again. And right in there is kind of where I was expecting a move to be made. And I was trying, each lap, I was trying to get an idea of what the mileage is from that point to the finish line. Because if that happened and I happened to be in front, could I pull one of these moves I've tried before where I just kind of ride away from everyone, or someone goes and I go with them, knowing that, you know, I only have X amount of mileage left. I think it's about 0.4 miles. So I said, all right, yep, let's see what we can do. The problem is that I was kind of on the back foot when we hit that, and sure enough, people wound it up. Oh, I know what happened. As we finished the last climb, the guy in the yellow jersey went off the front, and by the time we made that turn, he had a pretty good gap on everyone. Well, then everyone wound it up. We wound up catching him by, I think by the end of the downhill, we caught him. He was back in the group again, but now everyone was wound up. So now it's, you know, people aren't just going to slow down because then you get past. And so now the pace is high. I think my heart rate was like 174 already. And I was doing everything I could to stay with. And then we hit that 2%. And then the screws got tightened. And people started winding up. And I was already, I'd have to look to see what my watts were at that point. But I know they were high. I could definitely feel it. Guy in front of me started to go. I tried to stay with him. I probably waited too long to drop my drafting power up. Again, trying to save it in my pocket just in case I needed it, because I wanted to use it at the end. The reality is, if you don't get to the end, it doesn't matter. I should have dropped it earlier to try and grab his wheel. And anyway, I dropped it too late. Continued to spin it up. Didn't see him again. I did almost pass the guy at the finish. He put in 2 big digs. You can see his avatar get out of the saddle twice along that little finish line piece, and he finished right in front of me. So I think that put me in 6th. I did finish, essentially that was the front group. So I was happy about that. A couple of times I wasn't sure how many more of those splits I'd be able to make, but all worked out well. So all in all, a good race. I was definitely, I will say I've learned, I won't say I've learned. I always talk about, you know, learning from everything and applying it. I called out this time, you know, end game, think about the end game. And I was definitely in an end game mentality mode for that last lap, which is good. But it, you know, just didn't seem like I could get what I needed to for that finish. Good race. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to because we were running the counterclockwise direction. Yeah. Anyway, pretty happy about the whole thing. And anyway, that's our cool down debrief. And again, shout out to, I think it was Kay Albert, to Ryan for the Thanksgiving Day ride. And apologize for anything I said that was wrong. Ryan, if you want to go for a ride sometime, let me know. Anyway, with that, I think we're good. We finished our cool down, and I'll set my weight back. We'll be all good there. As always, leave comments. Check out the comments for the hydration product I use, the maps, my Garmin data, everything there. Keep Zwifting. I will see you in the virtual world.